Well, hello, friend, and welcome to another episode of Van Life Living in the Ark. You're going to have a hard time seeing me today because I just love this picture of this rock and this waterfall all together because I always love to give you guys a good view even though I'm out here talking about things, right? I never know what I'm going to say till I turn this camera on. But, I've been talking a lot about Jesus, but I'm really now kind of starting to talk a little bit about other things. And though I was talking about other things before, I was kind of burying it in what Jesus said because I didn't want to talk about the truth to necessarily the general public. But because no one's listening and I've been trying to offer the church a way out and nobody will take it, well, I'm going to just have to offer it to everybody. I'm going to put a link to a video calling the Principles of Changing World Order in the description to this video. Now, I hope you go watch that because it's a secular video. It's not about Christianity. It's not about Jesus. It's to let you know what's coming. There's a man that has done a lot of studying over the history of superpowers and how they rise and fall all the way back to Rome. So you can see what's coming, that way you're not caught off guard and caught blind. Because Jesus actually did tell you about all this, but nobody listened, and so since they didn't listen, now there's going to be a price to pay. And it's not that my Father wants you to pay the price, but I can't get anybody to listen to me. So maybe you can go watch that video, and if you see what I see, maybe you might want to try to leave a comment in this video about how we might go about creating a network to stop this. Or I'm not even so sure that we can stop it, friend. But one thing's for sure. Since this nation is going to divide, whether we like it or not, we can try to divide it for love instead of for hate. Because what people aren't seeing is there's 3 corporations that own everything in America. They own Walmart, they own Amazon, they own all the banks, the oil companies, the pharmaceutical companies. They own your food supply, your transportation, they own everything. They own General Motors, Ford, Pepsi, Coca-Cola. So because they own them and our politicians, well, they're dividing this nation. The reason they're using politics to divide us is so that we don't see what's going on. And because nobody wants to look, it's going to hit us blind because it is starting to show up, but nobody's talking about it. So that means the militia and the people that are scared are digging their foxholes, and the rest of us that want to bring the light and stop this from becoming insanity are going to end up doing nothing because we don't stand together. So I'm putting a call out to anybody that'll listen, telling you I want to get together with you and figure out how to create a network to prepare for this. I've been talking to Christians because Christians are supposed to have a greater faith and a greater love than the average person. But the truth is most Christianity doesn't, and that's the reason they won't listen to what I'm talking about, because they're too scared to do anything because they don't have enough love and faith in my Father because they really didn't read what Jesus said. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you're a Christian and you hear this, then I'm going to tell you that Jesus said the Father is greater than I. So if you tell me that the Father is equal to the Son, you're calling Jesus a liar. So it's time that you read what Jesus said and understood what he meant. He said a student is not greater than his teacher. It's just enough to be like him. So I'm trying to be like him. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. I'm sure you do too. But the harder we try, the better we'll get, right? We can practice. We can practice being more Christ-like by understanding what he said and doing what he asked. And that's what I do. So I'm not here to claim perfection. However, I'm willing to be the one that paints a target on his back to get something done, because if you're going to let your children get murdered, I won't. So if you hear this, whether you're Christian or non-Christian, and you do nothing, our children are going to die because this nation is going to divide and hate instead of love. So I've been putting a call out for love. And if we don't stand for one, we're going to stand for the other. There just isn't any choice at this point. Nobody will look at the truth, so nobody can see it coming. So if you don't want to stand with me, then you can just go dig your foxhole. But understand this. There are millions of people trapped in our cities that are going to not have enough food. So it doesn't matter what foxhole you dig, in what strange county, way out in the middle of nowhere you dig it. When they run out of food in the cities, they're going to be flocking out looking for it. So we can either figure out how to get through what's coming, or we can just pretend it's not coming and then pay the price for being ignorant. And ignorant is lack of knowledge, friend. I've given you all the knowledge that you need to know that what I'm talking about is true. If you look on my YouTube channel, you will see a file playlist there called Clues to the Kingdom. Now, if you don't believe in Christianity, you don't have to look at the Christian stuff. But look at the secular stuff. Look at Changing World Order. Look at some of the things that I have put together there so that you can see what's coming. And then if you decide that you're in agreement with me, that what I'm saying is true, and I can tell you if you're a Christian, I left you all kinds of stuff about Revelation there too. Because Jesus did tell you, and actually it wasn't Jesus, it was John in Revelation, it wasn't in red, but it said that we would manifest this thought of Satan into flesh. It says that the thought of Satan is what is not yet is. And then we did manifest it into flesh, and that is called a publicly traded corporation. It doesn't exist except on paper, and this nation gave them the rights of United States citizens, and now they've become our masters and us their slaves. And though you don't know that at the moment, not only do they own everything, but they're also buying up all the real estate. So soon you're going to be happy and own nothing. If you don't like that plan, you need to get together with me so we can start doing something to change it. There is no way to do this without somebody taking a fall, friends, so I'm willing to be the one. Every movement needs a scapegoat. You had Martin Luther King, they shot him. Gandhi, they shot him. Jesus, they crucified him. The apostles, they crucified him. They jailed him. They killed him. So I'm willing to be the one that lets you paint a target on my back. Because tell you the truth, friend, I've already painted a target on my back. And I'm going to complete it in April when I go to court against the corporations because I have a date. So if I don't have an army light beforehand, expect that I'm expecting to create a ripple across this nation that's going to leave it shaken. Because you might not believe me, but somebody's gonna. And when they put me in jail for not being a willing cooperative slave, then the first prisoner will pay his debt. But I'm not paying him. Understand, if you want this movement to go the right way and somebody else has a lot of money and you want to pay off my debt for God, that's great. Then we can make this movement work. It'll give us a little more time. But I'm not stopping. The Holy Spirit has told me this is my battle. And since I'm standing alone on the battlefield, friend, and I'm wearing the armor of God, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to fight, friend. It means that I'm willing to die. Because if you won't stand up for your kids, I'm gonna. And it doesn't matter whether it goes down right or wrong, friend. It's coming. It doesn't matter. And if you go look at this movie, Changing World Order, you will see what I'm saying. This has happened every time in the history of the world. And we keep ignoring it. And before we had an excuse because we couldn't have seen it coming, right? Nobody had the knowledge. But now in this day and age, we have the knowledge and we could choose to not let it come. So I'm here to give you a free will choice. But anyone that hears this message, especially a Christian, because Jesus is going to ask you why you listened to this and did nothing and let his children fall into darkness and get cast into the outer darkness where there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You're not going to hell. Hell is coming to you. And if you don't want to help me stop it, then you can enjoy your stay. But friend, I don't care if I live or die. I don't want to watch you murder each other like a bunch of animals when the food shortages hit because the corporations have been setting it up. Now you can see that we've got all kinds of shortages going on because of the COVID, and you've also seen all of these famines going on all over the world. And you know it all takes is a disruption in the food chain. If our food chain is disrupted and they go into their underground arcs, well then we pay the debt and they pay nothing because they prepared for this, friend. Go look at the documentaries. You'll find it real easy about the seed bank that I'm pretty sure it's in New Zealand, but I'm not 100%. But the corporations, the people with all the money, have built a seed bank, which they basically went into cold weather area, dug a hole in the ground, created a cave, and they've spent millions of dollars doing that and then taking all the seeds from all over the planet and storing them in that seed ark. Now friend, if you don't believe that there's people building arks, why would they have built an ark for seeds and not one for the seeds of their own loins? So understand, they've built arks for their children because nobody's going to invest in seeds that can't respread themselves, right? And no millionaire is going to spend that money and then hire someone else to survive to do it. No, friend, it doesn't work that way. These folks are calculated and they've been thinking about what they're thinking about while we were thinking about nothing. And I'm not blaming you, friend. I was thinking about nothing. But I'm not going to let this go down. In the Clues to the Kingdom, I have one of their underground arks. They toured it. It's got an underground swimming pool. So while your children or mine are up here murdering each other, they're going to be down there basking in underground swimming pools, enjoying the bounty while we murder each other off. Now, if that's okay with you, then you go dig your foxhole and prepare your guns, because it's coming. But if you don't want that to be the future, if you have hope, if you believe that my Father, which is your Father, because Jesus said, call no man Father but your Father in heaven. If you believe for 1 minute that he told you the truth, then will you please go read a Bible with what Jesus said and read red. Because if you kill one man for in this upcoming trials, understand that Jesus told you that before him the kingdom suffered violence and was taken by force, but after him it won't. He said offenses must come, but woe to those who bring them. So understand, I have told you everything you need to know in the previous videos on my channel about what Jesus said. So if you choose to join the chaos and become a rider of chaos, you will not receive my Father's kingdom because he told you in advance. He told you that somebody was going to come. Hear this. This is what Jesus said. Don't listen to the Pharisees. Go read what Jesus said. Jesus said, I came to save you. I won't judge you. But another one's going to come at the end of the age and judge you with my words. So what he was telling you was somebody was going to show up and say that Jesus already judged you, and if you go read the words in red, your judgment will be had. And then you can go, yes, I'm going to enter the kingdom, or no, I'm not, because when he comes, it'll be too late for you to make a decision. The hour's late, friend. It's time to make a choice. So you can either have faith that we can stand together as an American tribe and free ourselves and try to find some love and joy, or you can give up hope, dig your foxhole, and let's get this started, because that's what they're doing. Your politicians don't know it, but they're feeding right into exactly what the corporations want. They own your politicians. Understand that they can't run ads unless your corporations pay for it. There's a deception going on. It's not Republican and it's not Democrat, friend. It's corporate. We are dying of corporate cancer. Accept this or accept your fate. The choice is yours, not mine. I've already made my choice. And my choice is, for me, I serve the Lord. I'm going to serve Jesus till my dying day. I don't have any courage. I've got no glory. This is all my Father's glory. The Holy Spirit came to me and, well, I made him a promise. And, well, you don't break your covenant to God. But understand this nation did break its covenant to God. The church united, church and state under Trump to end abortion, and then Trump stood in my father's house and declared God's will murder. If you don't think there's a price to that, and you're a Christian, you're just not thinking about what you're thinking about. So understand, if we had a covenant, he broke it. So you better start thinking and reading what Jesus said, because this is the hour. Everything in the Bible pointed to it. You've got people blowing trumpets all over the place. So whether you choose to join me and try to bring the light, or you choose to run and hide in the darkness and hope that you don't end up judged, well, good luck to you. And I live in joy most of the time, friend, because I've done everything my Father asked. So even if they kill me, I'm going to get a greater kingdom in my death than I had in my life. And you should be thinking about that, because let's say that you're going to go kill an atheist or a Muslim. If you're going to receive a greater kingdom in your death, and you're willing to kill someone and send them to hell for eternity, are you worthy of the kingdom? These are the things Jesus gave you answers to, but nobody listened. So I'm telling you to go read what Jesus said, because the hour's late, friend, and you're going to make a choice. Everybody's making it. They just don't know they do. So, and if you don't know Jesus, and this is the first time you've heard somebody talk about that, understand that Jesus did not come to judge you. He came to teach you love. All the people that are feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and visiting people in prison, that all started because Jesus told us to do it. So even though the atheists have joined us, and a lot of the Muslims have a soup kitchen in Atlantic City, friend. They're out feeding the hungry. So if you're a Christian, you better sure hope that they don't take your spot at my Father's table, right? I hope you're getting what I'm saying, because Jesus said a lot of things, and the Pharisees won't enter the kingdom, and they won't let you enter either. So I'm hoping you're really thinking about what you're thinking about at this hour. And I pray that some of you will unite with me. And I tell people outright, I've been calling them out, friend. I'm telling them they're killing their children, but nobody's listening to me. A prophet is only without honor in his own hometown. And so I can't do anything to save my own people, because it falls upon deaf ears. Jesus told you they were going to say fancy things to tickle your ears. They're tickling your ears while you let insanity fall. So don't you blame me, and don't you blame my Father. You put the blame where it belongs, on the people that won't look at the truth. So everyone that has heard me, understand, if your children die, you're just as accountable as anyone else. Because there's only one shot at stopping this, and nobody's willing to take it. So you go read that Changing World Order, and you don't have to believe in Jesus to understand what it's saying. It's really plain and clear. It shows you that every nation does exactly what we're doing, and it always ends in civil war, or it's going to end in two superpowers. But we're not going to ever manage to engage with China, because they are engaging with us on the internet. They have been setting us up, and most of y'all don't know that, but they're trying to scare you to death. I've seen it. I can explain more if you ever meet with me, because most people aren't going to believe a word I say, so there's no sense in trying to explain the details of the way this goes down. So you can do what you want, but understand that America is dividing, and if it doesn't divide in love, it's going to divide in hate. So you can stand with me, or you can murder each other at the end of it. The choice is yours. And I'm not promising you that I can stop it and you can stop it, but I can tell you that Christ told us our job was to bring the kingdom at any cost. So it is our job to stop this if we're a Christian and we say that we know the greatest love ever given. Because he gave us everything we needed to stand with him. And if you don't have it yet, it's because you don't know him. All right, friend. May God bless you and yours.